Welcome everybody. Welcome to the live class. Today we're going to read a story, we're going to answer some questions, and we're going to learn some words and make sentences. I hope that you're ready to take notes. Or if you don't like taking notes, you can just come back to this video at any time and the notes will be here for you. Along with your teacher, Jim. Nice to meet you. Let's start the class. But first, I want to know if you can see me on YouTube. Let me see. Can you see me? And can you hear me? Let me see. Oh yeah, sounds great. So let's start the class. And if you have any comments, any questions, let me know and I will read them and I will answer you. Let's read the story. It's called Letter from the Future. Marcus was 27 and tired of his life. He worked in a small office, doing the same tasks every day. He often thought about starting his own business, but he was too afraid to leave his safe job. One evening when he came home, he saw an envelope on his kitchen table. He lived alone. The door had been locked. The envelope had his name on it. The handwriting looked familiar. When he opened it, his heart began to beat faster. Marcus, I am you, 15 years from now. I am writing because you are about to give up again. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. It will never come. You already have what you need: creativity, patience, and courage. Marcus sat down slowly. The letter continued. If you stay where you are, you will live a quiet life, not a bad life, but not your dream. In 3 months, you will get an offer from a friend. Say yes. This is the turning point. Do not ignore it like I once did. Marcus felt confused. If this was really his future self, why warn him? Had something gone wrong? 3 months later, an old friend called and invited him to help start a small company. Marcus remembered the letter. His hands were shaking, but this time he did not wait. He said yes. Years later, Marcus sometimes thought about the letter. His life was not perfect, but it was full of meaning. He never received another message. Sometimes he wondered if the letter had really come from the future or if it had appeared at the exact moment he needed to believe in himself. Let's ask some questions to see if you understand the story. Comprehension questions to see if you comprehend. How old is Marcus and what kind of job does he have? Do you know the answer? If you do, put your answer in the comments. How old is Marcus and what kind of job does he have? Well, the answer is Marcus was 27 and he worked in a small office job. Right? Marcus was 27 and he worked in a small office job. Although the question is in the present tense, so we're going to give the answer in the present tense. Let's write it down. Ready? Marcus is 27 and he works in a small office job. Okay, that's the answer. Let's make the questions bold so that the answer can stand out. Okay, there. The next question is, why is Marcus unhappy with his life? Let's just make all the questions bold right now. They're all bold now. Why is Marcus unhappy with his life? Did you notice the answer? What is the answer? Marcus is unhappy with his life because he works and he does the same tasks every day, so his life is boring, right? His life is boring, and he's not fulfilling his dream. He's not living his dream. So his future self says, oh yeah, here it is. Not your dream, right? If you stay where you are at your job, you will have a boring life, pretty much, but you will not be living your dream. So, the answer to the question, let's write it down. Why is Marcus unhappy with his life? Marcus is unhappy with his life because he lives a boring life and he is not fulfilling his dream. And what was his dream? His dream of owning his own business. I believe that was his dream, right? Yeah. It was his dream of owning his own business. Is that the truth? Yeah. Here it is. It says an old friend called and invited him to help start a small company. So, yeah, it's owning his own business pretty much, right? Doing something more exciting than just having that boring office job. That's monotonous. It's the same thing all the time. So, let's ask the third question. Where does Marcus find the envelope and why is it strange? Where does he find the envelope and why is it strange? Well, he found the envelope in his apartment. Does he live in an apartment? Well, no, it doesn't say that he lives in an apartment, but it says that he came home. I'm just imagining that he lived in an apartment. But he came home, he saw an envelope on his kitchen table. So that's part of the question, that's part of the answer, right? He found the envelope where? On his kitchen table. But why was it strange? Well, it was strange because his door had been locked and he lives alone. So who could have put that envelope on the table? That's why it was strange. So let's go over here. Let's answer the question. So Marcus finds the envelope on the table, on the kitchen table, and it's strange because he lives alone and the door had been locked. That's why it's strange. Number 4. Who does the letter say it is from? It says, Marcus, I am you 15 years from now. So the letter is from himself in the future. Wow, that's amazing, right? Do you like future stories? Do you like movies about the future or about time travel? Let us know in the comments. Okay, so the letter, oops, no, I don't want that. I don't want the answer to be bold too. The letter says that it is from Marcus himself 15 years into the future. The letter says that it is from Marcus himself 15 years into the future, or 15 years in the future. Or 15 years, we can say 15 years from now. Yeah, you got it? Okay, question number 5. What qualities does the letter say Marcus already has? What qualities does the letter say Marcus already has? Well, I noticed 3 qualities: creativity, patience, and courage. Marcus has these qualities. Marcus has these qualities: creativity, patience, and courage. So that's the answer, right? So the letter says that Marcus already has creativity, right? Creativity, I have to spell it correctly, patience, and courage. There it is. Do you have creativity? Do you like creating things? Are you artistic? Do you like drawing? Artists are very creative. Many business owners also are very creative. Business owners are also very courageous, right? Because you need courage to start a business. You don't know if it's going to work. Patience too, because in the beginning of starting a business, it may not work immediately. You need to have patience to stick with it. Let us know in the comments if you have any of these qualities. Number 6. What warning does the letter give about the perfect moment? What warning does the letter give about the perfect moment? Let's see. It says, stop waiting for the perfect moment. It will never come. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. It will never come. That is the warning about the perfect moment. So let's write it. Let's write the answer down, okay? The letter says that Marcus should stop waiting for the perfect moment because it will never come. He should start now to fulfill his dream, right? He should start now to fulfill his dream. Start working on fulfilling the dream now. Stop waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect time. Number 7. What will happen in 3 months according to the letter? It says here, in 3 months, you will get an offer from a friend. And Marcus from the future tells Marcus now that he should say yes. He should accept the offer. Okay? So let's write down the answer. What will happen in 3 months according to the letter? So, according to the letter, Marcus will get an offer from a friend. Okay? That's basically the answer, right? According to the letter, Marcus will get an offer from a friend, and he is advised to accept the offer, right? To say yes. He is advised to accept the offer. Number 8. How does Marcus feel when he receives the business offer? Let's see. How does Marcus feel when he receives the business offer? It says, 3 months later, an old friend called and invited him to help start a small company. Marcus remembered the letter. His hands were shaking, but this time he did not wait. He said yes. So, how do you think Marcus felt? I would say that Marcus felt nervous, a little bit scared, maybe afraid, right? But maybe at the same time he felt excited, a little bit excited, right? You can feel feelings, multiple feelings at the same time, different feelings. Maybe we can even say conflicting feelings. You can feel them at the same time. Isn't that true? So, let's write down the answer. How does Marcus feel when he receives the business offer? Marcus's hands were shaking, so he felt a little bit afraid, nervous, and perhaps even excited at the moment he received the business offer, right? Marcus's hands were shaking, so he felt a little bit afraid, nervous, and perhaps even excited at the moment he received the business offer, right? So we can even highlight these feelings, afraid, nervous, excited. What do you think? Am I correct in my understanding of the story? Number 9. What decision does Marcus make? Let's see. What decision does Marcus make? It says, this time he did not wait, he said yes. So he accepted the offer. Okay. What decision does Marcus make? He accepted the offer. He said yes. Right? He accepted the offer. He said yes. All right? If you want to add a direct quote from Marcus, well, I guess we would add the quotation marks, right? He accepted the offer. He said yes. At the end, does Marcus know if the letter was real? What do you think? Do you think the letter was real? Or was it just in his imagination? But then how would he know that his friend was going to contact him 3 months later to offer him the business deal? How would he know that? How would he have known? Let's go into the story. At the end, does Marcus know if the letter was real? Let's see. It says, years later, Marcus sometimes thought about the letter. His life was not perfect, but it was full of meaning. Okay, that's not part of the answer. Okay, here it is. Sometimes he wondered if the letter had really come from the future or if it had appeared at the exact moment he needed to believe in himself. In other words, like just part of his imagination, right? So I would say no. So I guess he lost the letter. I guess he misplaced the letter. I don't know. If I received a letter from the future, I would definitely not want to misplace that letter. But anyway, no. At the end, Marcus is not sure if the letter was real or if it was just part of his imagination. Okay? Now, question number 11. What do you think is the main message of the story? Okay, now we can express our own feelings and opinions, right? What do you think is the main message of the story? I would say that the main message of the story is to is that sometimes taking risks is worth the effort. So yeah, that could be one of the main messages of the story, right? Taking risks sometimes is worth the effort, right? Or pursuing your dream might be worth the risk. When you pursue your dream, you might lose something, right? You might lose time, energy, money, but it might be worth the risk. It might be worth all of that. We could even say it might be worth the sacrifices. Because once you get that dream, you're going to be happy that you worked hard for it, right? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Here's the last thought-provoking question before we move on to the vocabulary. If you were Marcus, would you trust the letter? Why or why not? If you were Marcus, would you trust the letter? Would you believe that the letter really was from you in the future? Let us know your comments, okay? Let us know your answer in the comments. Now, if I were Marcus, would I trust the letter? If I were Marcus, I probably wouldn't trust the letter. I probably wouldn't trust the letter until the prediction in the letter came true, right? Then I might consider if the letter was real, right? Because, come on, letter from the future never happens. So if I find a letter in my house and it says that it is from me 15 years in the future, I'm probably not going to believe it. Although the handwriting might be mine, but probably not gonna believe it until the prediction in the letter came true, because then I would have some kind of evidence to believe that it was from the future. Let's move on now to the vocabulary. So we have some vocabulary words from the story. If you can make sentences with these words, please let me know your sentences in the comments. I will be very happy to read your sentences. Okay. So in the story it says, he often thought about starting his own business, but he was too afraid to leave his safe job. So what does afraid mean? Well, to be afraid means that you feel fear. You feel scared. Someone who feels afraid does not feel brave, right? Marcus was not brave enough to follow his dream. Can you make a sentence with afraid in the comments? Have you ever been afraid in your life? For example, we have other sentences. She was afraid to speak in front of a large audience. Do you think that I'm afraid to speak to all of you in this video? Let me know in the comments. Many people are afraid of change. Okay, so let's move on to the next word from the story, creativity. Well, what does that mean? Creativity is the ability to think of new ideas or create something original, create something new. Have you ever created anything? Some people really like to create models, you know, like maybe a model airplane, a model car. Have you ever created something? Maybe you created a drawing, something very interesting. Creativity helps us to solve problems. Isn't that right? and creativity is important in many jobs today. We live in the time of AI, right? And many people are afraid that creativity is going to go down because AI will do everything for us. But in my opinion, AI helps people to use their creativity. AI helps people to become more creative. What is your opinion? Let me know in the comments. Ignore is another word that we can practice with. Do you have the habit of ignoring people when they talk to you? Do not ignore it like I once did. That was from the story, right? So what does ignore mean? It means to not listen to or to not pay attention to something. Have you ever ignored someone when they were trying to talk to you? Or maybe you're driving, right? And you see a sign that says the speed limit is 50, but you go 70. You are ignoring the speed limit. You are ignoring the sign that you saw. Here's a sentence. It is risky to ignore good advice, right? So if you ignore good advice, you're probably going to hurt yourself. Let us know your sentence with ignore in the comments. Confused is another good word that we can practice with. The story said that Marcus felt confused. What does confused mean? Well, when we do not understand something clearly, we are confused. Or when we are not sure what to think, we are confused, huh? So sometimes things can confuse us. What do we do when we are confused? Do we ask for help? Here's a sentence. She felt confused about her future. What do I want to do for work? I don't know. I don't like anything. I'm confused. I don't know what to do with my life. Has something ever confused you? Let us know in the comments. Meaning. What does this word mean? Meaning is the importance of something. The meaning of something is the importance of something. The meaning of something explains to you the important things about that. For example, here's an example. Many people search for meaning in their work. So what does that mean? Many people search for meaning. That means that many people try to see why their work is important. For example, let's say a person has the job of a garbage truck driver, right? A garbage truck driver. What is the meaning of his job? Or what meaning can he find in his job? What meaning can he find in his job? Do you know the answer? Let us know in the comments. So if he has this job, he drives the garbage truck, what meaning can he find in his job? Well, we can say that his job has a lot of meaning, or it has a lot of importance, right? Because he makes sure the city is clean and tidy. And that makes people feel good and happy. So the garbage truck driver has a meaningful job. He has an important job. So here we are practicing using this word meaning, right? What about the meaning of life, right? Some people think the meaning or the importance of life is to be a good person and help other people. What do you think the meaning of life is? Let us know in the comments and try to practice using these words out loud at home so that you can practice your speaking and become better at speaking in English. And you can come back to this video at any time and you can go over these questions and answers from the story. And you can try to even practice your writing skills like I showed you in the video. So, I hope that this was very helpful for you. Let me know if you think this class was helpful, and please give this video a like so that more people will see the video and benefit from it. Thank you everybody for your attention in this class. I hope that you have a great day or a great evening. And let me know where you're from in the comments. Bye-bye.